Hey, it's Mike from Apollo Advisors here, and today, everybody, we are answering this big question on the screen. Are we building the right product? This question is really not asked enough in early stage companies. What I do see is a lot of people building something they think might be neat, but not necessarily something their customers truly want, need. And there is this big gap, so I've created all these tools. And as you've been following the channel, you'll know that I've been working on problem solution fit, product market fit, and business model fit. These all constitute this product fit model. And I've got 5 ways for each of those 3 sections, 5 ways for you to actually test and answer the question, are we building the right product? And they go to the very heart of the things that I see a lot of startups not doing. And in my daily work, I'm always providing these tools to my clients and to my partners to help them get absolute clarity and focus on what to build. So let's get straight into it. So problem solution fit, this is super early. So you don't have a product in market at this time. You're trying to find out how big is this problem, how big is the potential solution, and do they, and this is really crucial, do they actually meet up? You, for example, may have identified a massive problem, but the work that you've done on the potential solution is very weak. So you don't have that integrity there. So I wouldn't go off raising money and scaling until those things are in check, until they're in balance together. Problem, solution, and they fit. So you can see here, you can jump into the problem, solution, fit evaluator. You'll get a score. But here's the really important thing, and you can get all of these tools now at b2bproductbooks.com. So go there, check out, this is what we're looking at right now. Okay, so here's number 1. Do you really have evidence? This tool that I built here, it really scores the evidence by exposing real users to low fidelity prototypes without coaching or explanation. This is massive. What you want to do is move towards what we call task-based testing, showing them things, getting them to do things, and getting feedback based on them. You're not pitching, you are not selling, you are truly validating. I like to think of it as you're a bit like Sherlock Holmes trying to figure out the evidence and the clues rather than the hard sell. Because in the end of the day, when your product is live, you're not going to be there jumping around next to the user saying, buy this, sign up for my SaaS product. So what you want to be able to do is build something that truly fits into to the world of your customer and to your user. So prototyping is so very powerful at doing this, because you get out of selling a beautiful looking deck and you get into the tool itself. So this is the first way you can do it. Prototype and test with your users. Run this operator and it will give you lots and lots of answers and insights to this question. Now the next one, this is number 2. This is all about signals. This one forces users to choose between real alternatives to produce unambiguous preference or rejection signals. Now this is really fascinating. What we're really doing is putting our solution in context of what is already available. Now this becomes super important, because what you have to realize is that users, customers, have a bias towards the status quo. So they're a bit reluctant to leave what they've got. In fact, they value what they have more than what they might have in the future. So you need to stand out compared to the best alternatives at present. This operator is going to help you to do it. So first thing, prototype. Number 2, really look for the signals comparing your product to existing solutions. 2 ways to kind of start figuring out, are we building the right thing here? Okay, next one. This one is huge. The willingness to pay. You must go out and test the real economic commitment by asking users to accept or reject a concrete paid offer. So what you can see is a little bit of a build here. The first way, you really find out, are we building the right thing? The first one here is obviously you prototype. Then you get the signals and compare, but now we're moving on. Would you pay for something like this? and really finding out how to make those stakes real and get real pricing discovery feedback. Okay, so these are 3 of the 5. This is just for problem solution fit. So there's plenty more things you can do to answer the question, are we building the right product? 2 more. This next one, the pull operator. This is really important. Often, if you do get a customer signed up to your product or service, it's taken a lot of cajoling, a lot of enthusiasm. Well, what happens? Well, they reinitiate engagement without prompting after a pause, meaning that whether there's any sort of break or pause in the use of the product or service, do they choose to come back? What we're truly looking for is the magnetism of your product. Wow, that really did solve my problem. I need to go back to that. In the absence of this, it won't kill your product, but it's going to tell you how much affinity the customer has. And the great news is you can test this prior to actually writing all of that code. Again, head over to that operator and you'll see how to do it. This last one is the pain. This forces users to rank the tested problem against competing priorities to understand real constraints. What do we mean here? This one's quite nuanced. Sometimes we can say, oh, we've built a product and it was built on a real problem. But here's the catch. Did that problem keep the customer up at night? It could have been just only a low-grade problem. Like, yeah, it's not great, it's not perfect, but I can live with it. And that would be a terrible mistake if you built your product solving a problem that's like a 6 out of 10 in terms of importance. So there you have it. 5 ways for you to go and test right now your problem solution fit. And here's the great news for you. You don't have to have a fully working product. You could jump into Lovable or Replit and you could build something. You could mock something up in Figma and you could show this and test this with your customers to determine that problem solution fit. All right, let's keep up the pace. Let's run through it. So we move to product market fit. This assumes now that you did get validated in stage 1, you're in stage 2, and you're now putting your product in the market. So you're going to see there's a different dimension of things that you need to work on. The best way I can say it is, if you want to know, are you at this stage? Your product is out there. People come for it. People pay for it and they stay for it. What that means is you've achieved all of the things of acquiring a customer, but also you're holding on to them. If you're just acquiring free customers that sign up once, half of those don't even onboard, and then another half of those left remaining don't come back after 30 days, that's not really product market fit. Okay, so if you want to know another 5 ways to test are you building the right thing, let's get into it. Again, here we are, B2B, productbooks.com. Demand reality. This is a big one. This tool is going to help you generate scoreable acquisition evidence by observing whether new users arrive through repeatable channels without outreach campaigns or launch-driven effort. So what you'll notice, to something that I have uncovered and you'll see comes back in these tools, is a lot of startups, when they throw a lot of money at the problem in terms of ad spend, they can acquire some users, not necessarily the best quality users. They might not stick around kind of users. So what we're trying to isolate here is, without all of that push, is there some magnetism? Is there some pull in the product? So do you truly have demand for this product? Okay, moving right along. Payment conversion operator. This generates scoreable monetization evidence by observing whether a user accepts or rejects a fixed paid offer without negotiation, discounts, or persuasion. What I'm really driving at with this tool is I see a lot of companies highly discounting to retain or to keep or to even acquire their customers. And of course, if you're really discounting aggressively, you're truly establishing the really bottom of price discovery, and that actually you're not worth $99, but you might only be worth $49 a month. That's a really massive change in your business unit economics and has a lot of implications. So you want to see, can you actually convert them at your normal recommended retail price, your monthly subscription? No bells, no whistles, no discounts. Again, you'll see this isolation. This is very important to get the truth, the evidence for your product. Let's keep going. Retention without reminders. Sometimes I see startups doing a big song and dance to get you to renew. Well, let's isolate this. Can you get them to stick around in your product without you cajoling them? So this one generates a scoreable retention evidence by observing whether users continue engagement or payment without reminders, nudges, or follow-ups. So you can see here, it's really the art of isolating true connection with your customer. Replacement behavior. Okay, this one's a big one. This tool, this generates scoreable replacement evidence by observing whether the users fully replace an existing solution or workflow instead of running products in parallel. So if you don't want to be a leaky bucket, if you don't want to lose customers after a short time, a great way of seeing this factor would be to see if they took their old solution and turned it off, unsubscribed, terminated it. That would be an all-in commitment for you. So again, we're now starting to get to some sophisticated signals of product market fit. And this last one, this one's the Parthenon. This is really the highest one. This is all about organic pull. You might call it referral, advocacy. You may even hear hardcore people call this your viral coefficient. Let's look at what we mean here. This last one, this is the 10th way you can test, are you building the right thing? Generates scoreable advocacy evidence by observing whether users create demand through unsolicited referrals or recommendations without prompt or incentive. So you might have a referral program, fine. But do you see people jumping on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and raving about your product or service? If that is done at unprompted, unaided, that is coming through the joy of seeing the job actually done, then you truly are onto something and you can look at scaling this product. Okay, so scaling product. This is where we get to our last 5 ways for you to test this idea of, are we building the right thing? And this is business model fit. So just to kind of give you the context where we've been so far, the problem, the solution of your customer, they fit, we're good. We deployed a product. We have product market fit. It's so tight that without a whole lot of effort, people stick around and even talk about the product. Okay, then we're ready to scale this. This looks like international expansion, adjacent features, maybe even whole new products in the line, in the portfolio. So you run your business model fit evaluator, and here are the 5 last ways for you to test your product. Number 1, the reality of your unit economics. This generates scoreable unit economics evidence by determining whether each customer produces positive contribution margin using observed data. What this is in really simple terms is after you pay your direct costs for that feature or product to be shipped, deployed. So you're thinking hosting, you're thinking all of the stuff, payroll, office. Once everything's done, what's truly left? Do your unit economics truly work on a per feature, per product, per subscriber basis? This is your biggest lever to create profit, because you think about it, if you're selling a product that is highly unprofitable and you're scaling that, you're just going to make the losses bigger. So we want to grab this at the unit level. That's why it's called unit economics. Okay. Cost of customer acquisition is massive. So you want to see, like, can you acquire a customer? You already did that in the previous step. But we actually want to see is that cost of acquisition, does that make any sense? So if I'm making a margin of $10 per customer per month, and I haven't factored in my marketing yet, and I'm spending $20 to get them, that's challenging because there's a delta there. And when you play it over your annual ad spend, over your average customer value over the year, you want to make sure that whatever your investment, it was way smaller than what you actually wanted as a total margin. For example, what you want to be able to do is make back all your investment pretty quickly, and you want to see the lifetime value of your customer and say, well, what did it cost us to get them? What did we generate from them on average? And does this model work? So you can see how if the unit economics are right, then you can play with your marketing spend and adjust it. Many startups invariably find that the cost of acquisition was way higher than they expected, and it blows out their numbers. So they have to figure out much smarter ways to acquire the customer. Okay, got a couple more left. These are ways for you to test, are you building the right thing? Okay, and we're deep into business model fit. Revenue durability. So this idea is generating a scoreable revenue evidence by determining whether revenue persists over time without being recreated through repeated sales efforts. Okay, a symptom of unprofitable or lower margin businesses is every time the annual renewal comes around, they have to do a lot of incentive song and dance, either in real life or in digital touch points or other marketing efforts. Can you have that durability of revenue without a new sales effort? Because if you think about it, if you did a big sales effort to get the customer the first time, and then a year later, you have to do that whole thing again, that's going to eat into your margins, going to eat into your business model fit. All right, cost of scaling. So now we're getting to the highest order of business model fit. And this is all about, well, what happens when you grow and scale this product? So you've achieved all the checks and balances prior to this. This tool generates scoreable cost structure evidence by determining how costs change as revenue grows and whether margins hold or degrade. So what you might see or you might be experiencing right now is that after you got your original cohort, your early adopters, as you moved into sort of more mature, later stage customers, they take a lot more effort to win, or they're just a lot harder to convince, or they want to pay a lot less. This is something that happens quite a bit. So this is about isolating that to see that as you scale, you at least protect your margin, and the high-performing businesses actually increase margin. Last one, founder dependency. So many great startups depend highly on their original founders. We want them to stick around, but we do want them to transfer some of those skills in order for this to be scalable. So this tool generates a scoreable optional risk evidence, operational risk evidence, by determining whether core revenue generation or delivery depends on the founder's direct involvement. Because it is magic when you, as a founder, can step back and the business continues to grow healthily. You're thriving, and it means you can go on and take all the new challenges that are going to come your way as you mature. So there you have it. This is a quick journey into the 15 ways that you can answer the question. You can test your hypothesis. Are we building the right product? It is all available here at b2bproductbooks.com. Go check it out, see what your numbers are, and let me know how you go. And if you get stuck, I'm also here to help. All right, we'll catch you next time.